Do you think that it's okay for somebody to cheat? Well, that's what happens when people use steroids to get an advantage in sports. The use of steroids and other drugs that give people unfair advantages are banned, and for a good reason. All athletes should be required to take drug tests to keep sports events fair. My high school makes all athletes take random drug tests. So if a school we play doesn't make their athletes test, they could use steroids and get an advantage on us. Today, we'll go over how enforcing drug tests will keep sports fair, also how it'll keep athletes who don't use them safer and give them a better chance at success, and finally, how it'll keep people from abusing drugs. If schools, universities, and pro teams enforce making their athletes take drug tests, all sports will be more fair. Athletes who don't use steroids will have a lot of disadvantages to those who do use steroids. The reason for this is that athletes who do use steroids will have enhanced many of their skills, things like strength, agility, and stamina. Because of all these advantages they gain physically, it helps them get athletic scholarships, which also means there are less scholarships available for people who don't use drugs. So by enforcing drug tests, it helps even the playing field for clean athletes. Drug tests will keep a clean athlete's chances of success better, and also keep students safer. If all students are clean, everyone has equal opportunity of getting success and also scholarships. Drug tests will also help keep students safer in a couple of ways. One way is it will reduce the chances of someone raging or going insane from steroid use or drug use. If you're on the field or the court with someone who is roid raging, you wouldn't be very safe. Another way that drug testing will help keep others safer is it reduces the chances of people spreading them. Peer pressure is a big reason in the spreading of drugs. So if less people are using steroids or drugs because of the testing, that means there are less people to influence others. Even though steroids are the main reason for drug testing, they also test for real drugs too. Drug testing will put a stop to steroids, and it will also help put a stop to other drugs. Drug usage is steadily inclining in our society, and a lot of those people are underage. Most kids will do anything to seem cool to their peers, even if it means doing drugs they don't know anything about. Some of these drugs that are popular among high school students and college students can have really bad effects on people. Performing drug tests on athletes will help take a small chunk out of the nation's drug users. Once athletes find out that they have to test for drugs, they will immediately stop, especially college and pro athletes. The reason that college athletes would stop is because they would get kicked off a team and their scholarship would get taken. The reason it would stop professional athletes is because if they can't play, they can't make money. Drug testing in sports will help straighten out kids and even adults, which would put them down a better path. Anything keeping people, especially kids, from doing drugs should be enforced. Today, we have talked about how taking drug tests will keep sporting events more fair, how they'll keep athletes who don't use drugs safer and give them a fair opportunity, and lastly, how drug tests will keep people from abusing drugs. All of today's athletes, no matter high school or pros, should be tested regularly for drugs and steroids. By eliminating the use of drugs and steroids, it will keep sports more safe and fair, which is good for not only the athletes but also the spectators.